Hello, and welcome back to David Galata Book Dreamer. I'm David Galata, and today I really want to talk about some of my experiences. This is advice for authors. I keep doing this every now and then. I'll bring up advice for authors. This one has to do with fairs and festivals. Done a couple of those at this point, including the West End Fair in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, which is a very large fair. And it was very different from other festivals I've done and other fairs I've done. One, just with the number of people that are roaming about in there. And two, just on, things like setting up and expectations, things like that. I have heard a lot of authors are not displaying their books at county fairs. I'm not sure why this is. It seems a little strange. You're, a local, author in your community, and, you want to be able to display what it is you're doing. You might find a lot of readers, not only from your own area, but from other counties and even from tourists. County fairs are still a popular thing. People are coming to them by the thousand, and that was something that I experienced at the West End Fair. So, not sure why there's this avoidance of fairs. Um, Maybe people feel that, well, there aren't a lot of readers there. You're wrong. Some people say, well, it's a county fair. It's nothing but, truck pulls and, animal exhibits and stuff like that. My books don't fit. You're wrong. Uh, Sorry, folks. That's just the truth. I mean, you know, I'm not talking like a county fair in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm talking, the West End Fair in Pennsylvania, up in the Poconos. These fairs and festivals are a great opportunity for authors. And I think a lot of people are missing out on them because they're not considering them as part of their repertoire of places that they go in order to exhibit and sell their books. So here's a few thoughts. One, find your fair. Okay? Find your local fair association. There's going to be one. Okay? If you're in a rural county, or if there's a rural county near you, contact them. The worst thing they can do is say no. Yeah, but I don't think they're going to. When I contacted, excuse me, when I contacted the West End Fair, they were actually very excited to have an author, and they knew I was self-published. They understood that. They also understood that I was local. I do live in the area. And they were very excited to include me in the West End Fair. Wow, you are going to have to deal with, delays, things like that. There's a contract that you have to sign. Space is at a premium, so be aware. You really don't want a booth space that is absolutely enormous because one, you're going to pay for it, and two, they probably aren't going to have a lot of room for that. So keep it modest. Keep it modest. My booth space was basically a 10 by 15 space, 10 foot by 15 foot. Gave me a little space for a reading area. I like to have demo books. We'll get to that in a moment. You're going to pay a fee. Yes, yes, you're going to pay a fee for the space. Absolutely. And the idea is to make the money back while you're at the fair. You are going to be agreeing to be at that fair for the entire time it's open, for all the days that it is open. For example, the West End Fair is a 7-day event, and it's open from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And guess what? I was there from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I was also there early for one of the days because it was for special needs uh, folks in the community, which I thought was fantastic. They opened the fair early, so it'd be a little less crowded, especially for those who require wheelchair access and things like that. That was a wonderful thing, but this is part of this. You want to be part of that scene. You want to be seen as a part of the community. Authors should not disdain their communities. And I don't know why people do this, but I've seen it. And enough's enough. So make sure you have a booth. Okay? But before we even get into that, let's talk about a couple of other things. Okay? You are going to pay for the footprint of your booth. Yes, it's now your job to make that money back by selling books. That means you've got to be the salesperson. That's okay. It's all right to be the salesperson. It's not going to kill you. It's going to help you. Too many people say, well, I only like to write, or I only like to paint, or I only like to sculpt, and I don't like to sell. Why? You don't want to spread your story, spread your work, have other people see your stuff. Is that what you're saying? In which case, don't even bother. Just paint and write and sculpt for yourself, and don't even show it to anybody. But if you want your work out there, you want your story out there, and it's okay to sell. That's not a dirty word. I don't know why that's become a dirty word, but for some reason it really has. And I remember this back in my college days. It was a dirty word back then. Well, whoever was teaching us that was doing so out of nefarious purposes. I promise you this. So you're going to want a booth space, and you're going to have to pay the price for that booth space. That's okay. Just make sure you've got your sales pitch ready. Okay? Second thing is you're going to need booth insurance. Absolutely. Yes, you're going to need insurance. And there are companies out there that do insurance for like, $150. You get 90 days worth of insurance because they're there for booths. Okay. ACT, which is based in Utah, actually handles my booth insurance. They're fine. They're great. Paid them the fee. I got my certificate. They automatically emailed the West End Fair Association and made sure they had all of my certificates and everything was all set. Done. I mean, that was quick and efficient and not terribly expensive. Now, you also should have a sales license. It depends on your state. My state requires a sales license. It's really not hard to apply for a sales and use tax license. When you do, they will send you a PDF that you print, and it just has the name of your little company. Now, here's the trick. It is always cheaper if the name of your company has your name in it. I don't pay anything for Galata Studios. It's a sole proprietorship. I'm the only one in charge of it. I'm the only person in there. So, yeah, I'm an author. And I'm also a painter. So because I do both, I call it Galata Studios, the plural. But because my name is in it, it doesn't cost me. So there you go. You save some money. You should get that ahead of time. It can take 8 weeks for the government to get back to you and give you your sales. It's ridiculous, but this is what's going on these days. So make sure that you have plenty of time. So now you need a booth. Booths can be expensive. Booths can be cheap. An easy pop-up, which is a 10 by 10 frame, pops up. Get a couple of friends to help you. Boom. And you know what? Quite honestly, a lot of the other vendors would be more than happy to help you set up your booth. I mean, that's what we were doing on setup day. We were helping others. Others are helping us. The other vendors of the fair are not looking at you as competition. They're looking at you as one of them. So treat them like one of them. You're all in it together. So be part of the community. Be part of the community of other vendors. They will be happy. Okay, so the guy who's selling candles and the lady who's doing pottery and the couple that's sitting there with carved stones and things like that. You help them, they'll help you. Everyone sets up and it's all part of one community. This is the nice thing about county fairs. I did not see as much of this in other types of festivals. You're pretty much on your own. You might be able to have a couple of friends in there to help you set up and to break down. But other than that, People are very busy fending for themselves. In a county fair, everyone bands together as a community because that's what the fair is all about, the community. That's what it's showcasing, and you are part of that community. So as long as you act the part, you will get all the help you could possibly need, and then some. I actually had to turn a couple of people away because it was getting too crowded. In the meantime, I'm hopping over, helping here, hopping over, helping there. This is part of it. This is part of the fair. You're part of the show. Can't stress that enough. County fairs are very big on community. So once you're a vendor there, and yeah, you're going to have your vendor's license, your little vendor's tag, and all of that, and for your car, you'll be getting free parking. You'll be in and out of there, no problems. Okay, it's all paid for. And for anyone who's helping you, I find county fairs are extremely generous in terms of giving day passes for people who are helping out the vendors. Wow, that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. So having a nice little 10 by 10 pop-up booth is fantastic. They only cost like $100. Okay? I know, only. I understand, but still, that's not so bad. Okay, you're not going to be spending $500 on this huge fancy booth. No, you don't need that. You don't need that. You just need a pop-up to protect your books from the sun, from the rain. Make sure you get one that has side panels that zip together. You'll need that overnight so you don't get dew all over your stuff, your books. You're also going to need a couple of folding tables. And, tablecloth. I mean, I use these. I I use my backdrops for this. They make great tablecloths for folding tables. Folding tables, again, fairly cheap. If you don't want to buy from Amazon, try Uline. And it's just letter U, line, Line, Uline. They've got everything you could possibly want. They've got shopping bags. They've got, packing boxes. They have plastic sleeves. They have display cases. They've got everything you could possibly want at a very nice price. For under $400, you could have a booth that is beautiful, professional, and will last you for years. That initial investment is very important. That booth will last you for years. The easy pop-up that I use, I bought for art events 15 years ago. And guess what? It's still in great condition. It's still being used. It still does the job. So what's that worth? That's worth a lot. I like having display racks. Those are also not so expensive. You get a pack of 4 of them for, 150 or something like that. That's great because that's all you need. You just need like a little backdrop for yourself. And again, I use these to cover the backdrop. Or you can get like a nice big print of your book's cover, put that behind you, have a little sign, meet local author. Okay, I had one of those in my booth, meet local author David Galata. There it is. Hey, put your picture on it. I forgot to do that in my booth, but I will next year. Oh, absolutely. I'll make sure that sign has my picture so people don't go by going, gee, I wonder who the author is, even though I'm sitting there. They don't know you. So I had to wave, hi, yes, that's me. I had to be a little extra proactive. And grab yourself a chair, a little cash box. If you have a point of sale system, that's fine. Use it. Okay? Use it. You got your little tablet, got your little point of sale. Use those. And county fairs do provide electricity. Yes, they do. They provide electricity. I highly recommend a weatherproof extension cord, nice industrial one that's not going to have problems. And if you can, because you are selling books, which can be damaged by weather, if there is a crafting tent, like the West End Fair is a big crafting tent. I was in there. It's a big wedding tent. Oh, it's fantastic. It's like being in a circus tent. So I have my pop-up booth with its cover inside a giant tent. I had no problems with weather. Not a single problem, not a drip, nothing. So that was fantastic. Or some fairs also have indoor booth spaces. So then you don't need the pop-up. You just need a table and maybe a couple of racks behind you with pictures. Go to a local printer, get some pictures done. Pictures of your book, pictures of you, pictures of, things that have to do with your book. If you have multiple books, that's always handy. Okay. And get yourself a nice batch of books. I kept some of my books under my tables, along with a box of tools and my admin box that I took home every day. Yeah, you're going to carry things. So get yourself a little foldable wagon. These little foldable wagons, they're also not expensive. I mean, you can get them for a very good price. And yeah, put everything you want to bring home each night into the wagon and wheel it out to your car. Boom, you're done. I mean, it's that easy. It really is that easy. So if they have indoor booth spaces, grab one of those. That way, you don't have to rely on just a little bit of tenting to protect all of your books from the weather. Now me, I like the big tent, so I'm going to keep going to the big crafting tent. That's where I'm going to be. I like having the pop-up booth in the tent. I like the tent in the tent thing. I also use these on the outside walls of my booth, as well as the inside. Now, these you can get at Amazon. These are photographic backgrounds. It costs like 30 bucks a piece. Okay. They're 8 by 5. That's great. You just put grommets at the ends, which is easy and really, really cheap, and S hooks, which are cheap and plentiful, and just hook them up on the racks. This way, people coming toward your booth see this interesting image and go, what is that? Why is that here at the craft fair? Why is this here in the county fair? And they're going to come over out of curiosity, and they're going to see you. Now, unlike some fairs and festivals, county fairs want the full show. Okay, the public is there to be educated and entertained. Okay, that's why they're there. So that means you have to be very active as the author to tell people about yourself, tell people about why you're writing what you're writing, what your book is about, and be part of the show. You can't just sit in the corner looking at your phone. I see it all the time. Don't do that. Put your phone away unless it's part of your point of sale system, in which case that's the only time you touch your phone, is to make a sale. But county fairs tend to be very cash heavy. Not a lot of people going for credit cards. Every now and then, so having a point of sale system is important, but county fairs tend to be very cash friendly. So get a little cash box. Make sure you have a lot of ones. Make sure you have, quarters and dimes and nickels, some fives. That's all you really need. Okay, that's all you really need. The next morning you can go to the bank, you can make more change out of the money you've made. It's very, very simple. But you're going to have to be the show. You're going to have to be the person that everyone talks about. And say, wow, yeah, there was a local author here. Now, I did hear that there was another local author, a couple of counties away, I think it was in Lackawanna County, who also, she sets up a booth at her county fair. Bravo! Bravo! Because people talk about it. People mention her. And they saw me go, oh, look, here's an author just like her. Wow! They're excited. The people were excited to see local authors at the county fair selling their books. You can't buy better advertising than that, even if you don't make a profit. Let's say you end up only selling a few books and you're a couple $100 in the hole. That's fine because you just spent $400 on advertising. And that's a, figure I pulled out of the air. Okay. How much is that worth? How much can you get for 400 bucks from, say, Google? Not much. How much can you get for billboards and radio and, not much. But at these county fairs, you can have anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 people a day walking past your booth. Now that's advertising. And if you are active and friendly with a smile and are very willing to tell people about your work, your advertising dollars are now really ramping up because you are doing the work that's necessary to make it worthwhile. So this is my advice to any author who is looking for new venues in which to display their books. This is fairly uncharted territory. Like I said, I only know one other person who's doing this, and I don't even know her. Okay? But it seems to be very rare for authors to be at county fairs, and I would like to see that change. We should be out there. We should be proudly displaying our books, knowing we are advertising not just to our local community, but to all the tourists that come through, because people love county fairs still. So that's what I got to say about that. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope this was educational. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them here. I will answer them. I promise you, I will answer them. So that's it for now. I will see you guys next week for another edition of David Galata, Book Dreamer. Please feel free to subscribe and share this as much as you can. All right, everyone. Take care now and happy reading.